Alright, I wanted to share with you a little bit about my endometriosis and my periods and how I'm eating and how those have been recently. It's been about over 2.5 years of being on a pretty raw vegan diet, however, doing a lot of experimenting and just doing a lot of just cooked vegan also. Um, and I wanted to share a bit of the progression of the change. So before going raw vegan, I'd been trying paleo for a really long time and was on a lot of prescriptions and a lot of medication and was in a lot of pain in which I couldn't walk. I was throwing up, I was blacking out, and pretty much chronic fatigue, chronic pain all month long as well. And then in going raw vegan, I was almost within 3 days, just a light lit within me, and I was like up on my feet and running around the woods, and just I felt like a whole new life was beginning for me when I felt very hopeless in so many different ways at that time. And instantly, I noticed that my periods were drastically different. Within the first month of being raw vegan, I decided I wouldn't take any of my prescriptions when my period came, and it was definitely a very scary choice to make. But I'd always felt very sad about taking the prescriptions because they can't heal. They only would mask the pain, and my heart just yearned to heal and to be vibrant again. And I ended up feeling like I didn't need them, and so my pain was just so drastically different because even when I was on these medications, I was still in torturous amounts of pain. And so I ate a lot of like a fruitarian diet. I still was struggling with my periods. They were still more than what's commonly painful. And it was still really difficult to walk on my periods. I basically was still laid out for my period. Not able to function. And as the months went on, that got better and better and better. And so in moving here to Ecuador, it was interesting to see that a year had passed since I went raw vegan when I came here to Ecuador. And so now I've been here for over a year and a half, and I was witnessing my periods getting even better and better and better and better. And within the first year of being raw vegan, I did a lot of fasting and eating just a lot of fruit around my periods because I noticed that there was a direct link into my intestines and what was inside them and to the pain. And so I was timing it so that I was doing dry fasts within 24 hours of my period starting so that there was like nothing in my intestines. And I even wanted to fast during the dry fast completely during my periods, but usually I got about 2.5 or 3 days into it and just felt like I did need to eat. And so I did, and that was helpful within the first year, but within this second year, I've been a little bit more random. I haven't particularly decided which way I needed to eat or wanted to eat, and I kind of just ate however I needed to before and during my period, but still raw vegan. But within the last like 8 months or so, I haven't been being too strict about it. I've had cooked food every now and then. I've even had bread and processed sugar. I've even experimented with trying things like eggs and dairy within these past like 8 months. And I haven't particularly noticed my periods getting worse. They've been pretty steadily good. So in these last 8 months, so they've been better than they even were last year, where I've actually been able to get up and go to work and almost as if there's no pain at all. Sometimes there's some uncomfortable pressure, and that can have a lot to do with food combination. I particularly like peanut butter and apples, and that tends to create gas because that's a fat and sugar combination. And so that, I think gas is one of the things I noticed actually causes a lot of the pain. Also, a lot of pain I've recognized has come from stagnant lymph. And so it's not just been about what it is that I have or haven't eaten. So I'm going to get into that and finish just by saying I've noticed that particularly in the past few months, I've felt really drawn to fats like coconut meat and avocados on my period. And so I've been giving myself that, and I've been looking more or less at the food aspect of what's going on with my period and more at the energy. So noticing stagnant lymph causes pain, causes like this coldness. So doing a lot of like self massage has been really important part of releasing a lot of like the uncomfortable and the painful side effects. Particularly with PMS, you know, like that mood swing comes definitely when you introduce sugar into your diet. And so I definitely have stayed away from sugar, processed sugars over these past many years, just few years being raw vegan, and have felt that I've needed to go to it when I've had emotional and traumatic pain that I've needed to heal and past rewiring to heal. But that, you know, that takes time, but that's actually been being resolved a lot this past year. Really, actually, this last March, April, May, it really just I resolved that. And so I haven't felt particularly drawn to sweets as much. Also, one thing that I really think I talk a lot about is it's the energy behind things, and I definitely had an energy of I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to go through this, I want this just to go away, and changing that to an energy of I'm here with you, holding my womb, speaking to my womb, you know, just petting my legs, you know, in a massaging way to help move the lymph too, or holding my arms and just hugging myself, loving myself, petting myself, really being there for myself, and actually staying very present with myself has, I think, been really essential in the healing process, because our being is a living entity. It's not just Kimberly, this ego, it's the whole being, it's the whole body, and my womb has needed my love. My womb has needed me to be here, and I'm so glad that I've been turning into that and loving my womb so much more, and my body so much more, and Kimberly so much more, and the healing work really comes from that. I think that I spent a lot of time disassociating from my body, you know, like, oh, my arms are too fat, I don't want to think about them, I don't like them. Oh, my thighs are too big, I don't want to think about them. And so I did that with my womb. I had a lot of pain and trauma around my womb, and I disassociated with it for so long. And so just reconnecting with my womb, loving my womb has been really essential. I really think that's a really big part. So the intention behind this video was to just share the progression of the healing of the endometriosis. Pretty much this past year, I would say that 8 out of the 12 months, like, were just, like, phenomenal, like, really almost no pain at all. I still get this kind of, like, drugged effect. I don't know if anybody else experiences this. It's, like, literally like I am on something, and, like, there's just, like, this wah, like, in here, and, like, I still take it very easy. I don't, you know, force a lot of movement or crazy activity, because this is a sacred time, and it's a time to just take that time with your body and honor the sacredness of it. And So I still have these interesting symptoms, but I believe a big reason why the healing happens and why it's getting better and better and better is because the raw vegan diet is a detox, and so it's allowed me to really not eat the things that have been built up and been, causing mucus and plugging it up and all of these things. And so my system is flowing a lot more. I've been activating my lymph and really working on allowing that to flow. I know that my physical therapist was really vocal to me about that my lymph was really stagnant and really backed up, and I needed to do self-massage to keep it activated and flowing because the lymph moves toxins. And so I've noticed that in giving that a lot more attention over this time, that is allowed to flow. So the lymph massage and the raw vegan diet have allowed the toxins to flow out more. And I think that, of course, is going to have great results where you're not really having as much pain. And then also doing the emotional and trauma work and allowing that energy, that toxic energy to flow out from those elements as well has been really healing. And so I feel I'm in a very interesting place where, I'm really excited to see how how my period is this next year. I definitely would love to come to a place where I can actually be extremely active and almost just not even know it's really happening. And sometimes I wonder if that's even realistic because our woman body is so different than the male body, and this is a particular time in which we are detoxing. The period is a detox. This is a release of the old that needs to go. And so it's really, really important time. And it's a really sacred time as a woman to honor. And just giving that much more attention. I think in the Western culture, at least I was raised, that this is just a biological function that is an annoyance to society and kind of not really talked about. It's kind of seen as gross, and we don't really get taught that much about our body in this regard. And I know a lot in other cultures, it's definitely talked more about and regarded as sacred and beautiful, and just turning into that a lot more, because I think it is a wonderful time that we get to have every month to stop and honor that sacredness and be with it and be with our body and honor our womb. We're such amazing creatures. And there's space to hold for this place, for this creative womb that we have, and move that energy and be with that energy. I think I covered what it is that I wanted to talk about, which was basically how I'm eating. I don't really know how I've really eaten in the past year, just mostly raw vegan, but sometimes I did eat cooked, sometimes I did eat these other things, and I know they had their effects here and there, but mostly overall, I've seen my periods getting better and better and better, and I'm still taking it easy. I don't do anything too intense, but I have actually been able to go to work, and sometimes it's almost like it's like there's absolutely no pain, there's nothing going on, and so it's pretty amazing results, I think, for endometriosis and healing it. And I really want to share my story with that, because I know there are other women who have endometriosis and who are suffering still. And so I hope that if you find this and this testimony, it's something that you'd be willing and interested in trying, is eating a raw vegan diet. You have to make your own decisions about whether or not you stop taking your prescriptions or anything like that. About whether you want to do a surgery or not, or something like that, or continue with birth control, which is regulating those hormones, which I never, never even gave even a moment's notice to that. That was just an instant no. But, I've had a history of it, escaping pain, wanting to escape my pain, so going to painkillers was unfortunate because it wouldn't heal, but it was an easy out at the time. But it also was extremely helpful. It's really difficult to explain to people the amount of pain that you're really in when you have endometriosis. So I have a lot of compassion for everybody. You need to make the decisions that that really you feel support you the best. And I would just suggest really praying to God about that, and really, having it on your heart, wanting to be healthy, wanting to be vibrant, wanting to love your body is fantastic. And I have found that through eating a raw vegan diet, which has been really healing and detoxing, and doing the emotional healing of the past traumas and emotions and negativity, and giving presence to my body, loving my being instead of not, and moving the lymph, getting good movement, attention to the body throughout the entire month, even not just on your period, has been really essential. And there was something I wanted to say, but I forgot. So if you found this video helpful, great. Please message me if you want to share any of your experiences or you have any questions. I remember, I wanted to say that I think the raw vegan diet has been extremely helpful in allowing a lot of detoxification. I've been doing it for 2.5 years, and the past month I've been kind of just eating vegan, so I've been eating cooked, although the many months before, I was kind of just doing a lot of fasting and a lot of fruit, but still had been very sporadic and eating cooked here and there over the past year. And at this point, I don't feel that I need to continue with the raw vegan diet in order to maintain my particular health with my period. But I don't have enough data, I don't have enough information because I haven't really tested that. And I've found myself coming back to a more raw diet. I've been feeling kind of eating more cooked foods, even though it's just been a lot of greens and a lot of nuts and seeds and salads. Even still, I do tend to find my way back. And so at this point, I no longer am interested in even giving how I eat a name. I kind of just choose how I eat, and I find that sometimes I've eaten raw for another week to 2 weeks, and then I have a cooked meal, and then may find myself eating cooked every other 3 days or so, just kind of going with what flows. And so we will see how my period progresses, and I will definitely share, do another update as time passes by, and I can get some data and see just over time what comes from it. All right, I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching.